When Elena Vance steps into New York's prestigious Legacy Gallery as its newest curator, she faces immediate resistance from the old guard, particularly the intimidating Mr. Sterling. Her modern vision for the gallery clashes with his traditional views, and her identity as a young woman of mixed background makes her an easy target for his criticism. As tensions escalate during a crucial opening night, Sterling's attempts to undermine her reach a boiling point. But just when it seems he's won the upper hand, a surprising phone call changes everything. Elena discovers she's inherited ownership of the very gallery Sterling claims to protect, a secret arrangement orchestrated by her grandmother to test Elena's dedication to the arts. Now armed with both legal authority and artistic vision, Elena must confront Sterling's prejudices head-on while transforming the gallery into a space that honors both tradition and innovation. It's a story of power, prejudice, and the courage to reimagine the future of art. Elena Vance was an up-and-coming art curator, adjusting her bright red scarf to shield herself from the cold New York evening air. She had worked tirelessly for months to prepare for the opening night at the well-known Legacy Gallery, which was famous for its classic art pieces. As she looked around the room, she felt a knot of worry in her stomach. In one corner stood a man with a serious, almost threatening look, Mr. Sterling, a longtime supporter of the gallery who often claimed to protect traditional art. He had made it clear that he didn't agree with her modern vision. Tonight, he appeared especially annoyed, watching her closely as she chatted with a group of up-and-coming artists. His remarks about keeping the gallery's integrity were thinly disguised criticisms of her efforts to include a variety of voices in the show. Elena sighed. She recognized people like him, those who focused on her age, gender, and mixed background, instead of her skills and experience. She knew that tonight, she would have to manage his discontent while maintaining a polite smile and a strong attitude. The event was alive with laughter and conversation, but an undercurrent of tension swept through the room like an invisible current. Mr. Sterling, a man whose presence seemed to command attention with an almost magnetic pull, navigated the crowd with an air of self-importance. His voice, low and gruff, carried unsettling whispers of discontent. Elena strained to catch snippets of his conversation mingling with the ambient noise. Words like big changes, disrespectful, and losing its charm dripped from his lips, each syllable weighted with disdain. She observed as he adeptly assembled a small but influential crowd around him, their expressions shifting from curiosity to concern as they soaked in his rhetoric. His comments, veiled yet cutting, aimed to undermine her work and dedication, suggesting that her interpretation of art was misguided and unworthy. He questioned the validity of her talent, insinuating that her very presence was a blight on the gallery's long-standing reputation. Elena felt a swell of anger rise within her, the sting of being judged not for her artistic abilities, but through the lens of others' misguided assumptions, was a bitter pill to swallow. The gravity of Mr. Sterling's gossip threatened to spiral out of control, casting shadows over her career and the vision she had poured her heart into. Determined not to let her dreams be tarnished by his disdain, she resolved to confront him. The decision felt both daunting and essential, a calculated step toward reclaiming her narrative in the art world. Elena approached Mr. Sterling, her footsteps resolute against the polished wooden floor of the gallery. She looked up at him, her voice steady despite the tension crackling in the air. "Mr. Sterling," she began, her tone calm but firm. "I couldn't help but overhear your concerns. Could we discuss them privately?" Mr. Sterling turned to face her, his expression a complex blend of pride and disdain, the corners of his mouth twitching as if he were trying to suppress a frown. "Talk?" he scoffed, incredulity spilling from his voice. "Young lady, I've seen enough of your so-called innovations. This gallery has a reputation to uphold, and your experiments," he emphasized the last word as if it were a curse, "are jeopardizing that." He gestured dramatically around the room, his arm sweeping to encompass the eclectic array of artworks displayed proudly on the walls. "This isn't what our visitors want to see. They come here for beauty, for prestige. My esteemed patrons expect a certain caliber of art. Elena felt her patience fraying under the weight of his condescension. A fire ignited in her chest, and she stepped closer, meeting his intense gaze without flinching. "And what exactly do your visitors want, Mr. Sterling? A monotonous collection that merely echoes one limited perspective? Art should reflect the kaleidoscope of our world, celebrating all its differences," she insisted, her voice rising with conviction. His face flushed crimson, eyes narrowing as she spoke. "Differences? That's just a euphemism for saying your work isn't good enough. You think this is about perspective? It's about quality, young lady," he retorted, the scorn in his voice palpable. The tension in the room crackled like static, and Elena knew they were at an impasse, each clinging to their own vision of art and its role in society. The argument escalated, voices rising above the ambient sounds of the gallery, drawing the attention of onlookers who began to circle around the unfolding drama. Mr. Sterling, emboldened by the growing crowd, launched into a sharp critique of Elena. He derided her for her lack of experience and questioned her unconventional approach to her work, his tone dripping with condescension. Despite the pressure, Elena stood her ground, her posture resolute as she passionately defended her artistic vision and the talented artists she represented. Just as the tension reached its boiling point, the shrill ring of her phone sliced through the charged atmosphere, momentarily halting the confrontation. Elena's heart raced as she fumbled to retrieve her phone from her pocket. It was her lawyer, a call she had been anticipating but fervently hoped wouldn't disrupt the event. "Elena, the papers are ready." Her lawyer's voice came through, steady yet urgent. "The inheritance is officially yours." Elena's breath caught in her throat, and her eyes widened in disbelief. News about her grandmother's will had consumed her thoughts for weeks, filling her with both anxiety and hope. This inheritance represented far more than mere financial gain. It embodied a cherished family legacy, a tangible connection to her past, and an opportunity to secure her future. The world around her faded momentarily as she processed the weight of the revelation, a blend of excitement and responsibility coursing through her veins. Elena stepped away for a moment, her thoughts swirling. She had just learned that she would inherit the Legacy Gallery, a vibrant art space. Her grandmother, a private yet powerful art collector, had secretly bought the gallery years ago with the plan to leave it to Elena. But there was a catch. According to her grandmother's will, Elena could only claim the gallery if she showed that she was truly dedicated to curating art. Her grandmother had been keeping an eye on her, noticing Elena's passion for art and her battle against the traditionalists in the field. Now, with a new sense of confidence, Elena walked back into the gallery. She approached Mr. Sterling, who was still enjoying his moment of superiority. "Mr. Sterling," she said, her voice strong and clear, "I have something important to tell you." Elena stood at the center of the gallery, the vibrant colors of the artwork surrounding her. But it was the legal papers in her hands that commanded everyone's attention. The court's official seal glinted under the bright lights, casting a serious tone over the room. She lifted the documents high, her voice steady and clear as she declared, "These prove that I am the rightful owner of this gallery." A heavy silence enveloped the space, tension palpable in the air. Mr. Sterling, his face draining of color, stared at her in disbelief. "What are you talking about?" he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. "This gallery belonged to my grandmother. It's been in our family for generations." Elena met his gaze, her expression unwavering as she explained, "Yes, I understand your connection to this place. However, when your grandmother passed away, she entrusted the gallery to me in her will. I have the legal documents right here, confirming that I am the new owner of the Legacy Gallery." Mr. Sterling's eyes widened, a mix of shock and anger flickering across his features. "That can't be true," he exclaimed, his hands clenching into fists at his sides. The indignation in his voice echoed off the walls, causing the small audience gathered around to shift uncomfortably. Elena, buoyed by the truth, allowed herself a small, confident smile. "Not true? You will soon see that it is very much true." The certainty in her tone resonated with those present, and she knew that this confrontation, while tense, marked a pivotal point in claiming her rightful legacy. The room buzzed with whispers as the news spread. Mr. Sterling, his face a mask of shock and anger, was left speechless. Elena, now the owner, addressed the crowd. "I understand that some of you may have concerns about my vision," she said, her voice calm and authoritative. "But I assure you, my goal is to honor the legacy of this gallery, while also embracing the future of art." She outlined her plans for the gallery, emphasizing inclusivity, innovation, and a commitment to showcasing diverse voices. Mr. Sterling, realizing his influence had evaporated, stormed out of the gallery, his face red with fury. Elena embarked on a mission to transform her creative vision into reality. Recognizing the need for fresh perspectives, she organized a series of innovative art displays that showcased not only emerging artists, but also celebrated the masterpieces of established figures. Each exhibit became a dialogue between the old and the new, inviting visitors to explore diverse artistic expressions. To further engage the community, Elena developed a range of educational programs aimed at making art more accessible. These workshops, lectures, and interactive sessions encouraged participation from all age groups, fostering a sense of belonging and appreciation for the arts. Through these initiatives, she aimed to demystify the art world, making it enjoyable and relatable for everyone, regardless of their background. Under her dynamic leadership, the gallery transformed into a vibrant hub for creativity and connection. The atmosphere was warm and inviting, as people gathered not just to observe art, but to engage in discussions and share ideas. Some of the older gallery members, who had once firmly supported Mr. Sterling, began to watch Elena's unconventional methods with a blend of skepticism and newfound respect. Her bold approach was successfully attracting a younger audience, infusing the gallery with fresh energy and perspectives, and ensuring its relevance and vitality for years to come. Elena's vision was not merely to display art, but to cultivate a community where creativity could flourish and inspire all who entered. Mr. Sterling, determined to maintain his hold on the traditional power dynamics of the art world, resorted to increasingly desperate tactics to undermine Elena's burgeoning influence. He began spreading malicious rumors, casting doubt on her credibility and the quality of her work among influential patrons and collectors. His attempts to sabotage her exhibitions included everything from manipulating venue access to attempting to coerce gallery owners into withdrawing support. However, Elena, invigorated by her newfound authority and bolstered by a growing network of supporters who believed in her vision, stood firm against Sterling's onslaught. She chose to confront him directly, seizing the opportunity to expose his deeply entrenched prejudices and his willingness to manipulate the art world for his own ends. In a dramatic moment at a prominent gallery opening, she eloquently articulated her vision for a more inclusive and equitable art community, garnering the attention and support of both attendees and the press. Her fearless actions sent a powerful signal. The old guard's tactics of intimidation and exclusion were no longer acceptable. As she stood tall amidst the chaos, it became clear that the art world was undergoing a significant transformation, and at the forefront of this change was Elena Vance, leading a movement towards a brighter, more inclusive future. Under Elena's visionary leadership, the Legacy Gallery flourished, evolving into a vibrant testament to openness and creativity. It became a pivotal space where art transcended boundaries, uniting diverse communities and fostering important dialogues. Elena's journey was not just that of a young curator. It was a compelling narrative of resilience and innovation. She defied conventional norms and transformed a once stuffy traditional art venue into a dynamic community hub that celebrated inclusivity. Drawing inspiration from her grandmother, a lifelong artist who emphasized the power of storytelling through art, Elena infused the gallery with a new sense of purpose. She understood that art is more than an aesthetic experience. It is a reflection of individual and collective identities. Under her guidance, exhibitions became immersive experiences, encouraging visitors to engage with the artwork on a personal level and to share their own stories. The Legacy Gallery transitioned from a space that often felt exclusive and out of reach to one that invited everyone to explore their personal connection to art. It hosted workshops, interactive installations, and community events, breaking down the barriers that often separated artists from audiences. In doing so, Elena nurtured a renewed legacy, one where the gallery acted as a catalyst for creativity, collaboration, and cultural exchange, making art accessible and meaningful to all.